Track 22.
So next, statistics, often thought to be the worst kind of lying there is. A recent survey found that 60% of Britons believe the probability of tossing a coin twice and getting two heads is 50%, rather than the correct answer of 25%. Our guest today, Tom Hunter, thinks this is a worry and says we need to get to grips with stats. Tom, welcome.
Hi.
So, what's the problem? We don't really make use of stats and probabilities in our daily lives, do we?
Oh, my. Well, that's a common belief, but gosh, I mean, we're surrounded by statistics. Opinion polls, crime figures, product claims in advertising.
Exactly. I mean, it's just used to sell stuff, and so we ignore it.
Well, of course, statistics can be used to manipulate, but they also inform policy development, scientific progress, and many individual decisions. The heart of the matter is that there are good statistics and bad ones, and knowing the difference is empowering.
OK, so how can we tell the good from the bad?
Well, we need to recognise that different approaches to data collection have different degrees of validity. And we need to look for underlying problems with any research we encounter.
For example?
Well, say a food company is having some research done to see if its product has health benefits, right? It has a vested interest in the process, so researchers may get pressured into finding positive results. They may worry about not being employed again, which may affect their conclusions. Similarly, asking 50 people on social media will be less valid than a survey of 5,000 people chosen at random. That's not just because the sample size is too small, but also because social media will tend to attract people of similar views, so this grouping effect may exaggerate the results further.
Shouldn't publishers filter out this poor research?
You'd hope so. Obviously, research in a respected journal, reviewed by other experts, will be better than something published anonymously online. But even peer reviews can underestimate aspects like sample size. And interpretations can also be wrong. So, we always need to be on our guard.
Yeah, you mean the wrong conclusions may be drawn, whatever the data?
Absolutely. Take the issue of relative and absolute figures.
Relative and absolute?
Yeah. Say Company A produced 10,000 units last year and increased it to 12,000 this year. That'd be a 20% rise relative to its previous performance and an absolute increase of 2,000 units. Company B, on the other hand, produced 1,000 units last year and 1,400 this year, a rise of 40%. So, by comparing the relative changes, Company B could say it performed twice as well as its rival, but in absolute terms, its rival produced an extra 1,600 units compared to Company B.
I see.
But what's more, Company B may have employed more people to get its increase, while Company A may have achieved theirs whilst cutting staff. So, far from doing 100% better than a rival, Company B's actually being hugely outperformed. And, of course, 1 year doesn't make a trend. It could just be an anomaly.
Maybe they had one client who ordered a huge amount and won't repeat it.
Exactly. So you can see it's the focus on either a relative or absolute figure, and choosing the start and end point for the figures that can be used to twist data to suit your own ends.
Sure. So, what about the probabilities we started with?
Well, the initial problem is basic maths. However, people also misunderstand how probability works as a prediction tool. They don't understand variables and the degree to which they're dependent.
OK.
If you had just thrown a head, or indeed 6 heads or 10, the probability of the next throw being a head is still 50%, not 25% or smaller. That's because these are random events out of your control. However, the probability of having a heart attack, say, is dependent on whether you've had one before. If you have, the risk of another is greatly increased.
Time to cut down on salt.
Well, maybe, but claims about direct correlations also need to be treated skeptically. As an extreme comparison, the fact that TV sales may increase in line with crime does not prove that one affects the other.
Well, you're beginning to convince me, but can you give some other examples?